Hey guys, welcome. I'm Marcel, and today we will talk about rules, etc. So let's get started, okay? I prepared a little bit, and today we'll be using Mirror. It's a thing to show a little bit and easy track things and write things on like a canvas board. And today we want to talk about rules, so I prepared a little bit of things and just for visualizing. So here I started with a little bit of a frame, and this frame should be like the playmate for right now. So yep, that's it. And the two cards bags, that's that one should represent the decks. So like, you have your deck, okay. Then you have on the bottom your 100 life points. That's the starting life points. Also the main resource, because we are paying with life points, so we have a little bit more of them than in other games. And we have the turn. So in this case it's turn 0. The game hasn't started yet, and it's also for the opponent. So the turn is important in this game because, I will tell you later in a couple of minutes. So when we start a game, we start with 7 cards, by drawing 7 cards. So let me quickly grab some cards here on the side. And you can see here already some cards we have. Some don't have graphics right now, so that's not so good, but we will go over that. And just assume there will be graphics, okay? Our artists are on it and they need a little bit of time to draw the awesome art for each card, so we will start with that. So let's grab 7 cards from this pile. Okay, especially we will start with one special card, the hero ability. That's the golden ones, and you just grab this one. And we will pull them over to our side and scale them a little bit down. So this kind of card is important because that card lives outside of the normal deck. Hero abilities are special, so to say. So a hero ability, as you can see here in the top, has no regain in this case and no costs. So, but it has an ability that you can read here down. So once per turn you can play a card with a pressure level +1. In the most cases the pressure level is equal to the turn. So, and that's important because the pressure level is the maximum value you can play in this turn. So if we are on turn 4, your pressure level is 4, so you can play cards of cost 4 or less in this turn. In the next turn, it's turn 5, so you can play cards with with cost of 5 or less, and so on and so on. So that's the important thing on this, is that you can play the strongest cards more in the later game. That's really important for balancing, because if this pressure level wouldn't exist, there would be how do I say it? The one with the better starting hand has a good outcome to win this game. So because if one player draws his super strong 10 cost card that does a lot of damage and is nearly invulnerability, and and the other player doesn't have such a card on his hand, so he can play them and he annihilates everything the other player is playing. That's not good, so we have to go a little bit slower with that. So, and this card allows us, for example, to play a card of a higher level in the turn. And in the later game, when you don't need this ability anymore, or you don't have the right card, you can reduce the cost of a card by 1. So it's a 1 or 2 thing. And so this card is on the field from the beginning. I just wanted to make sure that you know about that, and want to introduce cards one by one and card types one by one. So let's go on. The opponent also has an hero ability, so let's take the same one and place it like there, and he also has now the same. So okay, other card types we have are like, let's take some creatures. Start with some smaller ones. Like this, and also take this spell card here, and we take a strong artifact and a strong creature. And what else? No, trap cards. Trap cards. Yeah. Trap card. If you have a nice trap card for that. So other creatures. So how many cards do we have? 6. So I think we should need another smaller one. So how do we think about it? Just a soldier. Let's take this one, for example. So now we have 7 cards on our hand, and just let me sort them a little bit. And let's say you draw these cards on your initial drawing phase. So what does that mean? Let's quickly sort them by cost. So we have that 1 cost thing, the 6 cost, 3. So here's another 2 cost card, 4 cost, 3, 6, and 7. So the cost is always on the top right of the card. Sure. So then we have here in the higher cards, you see that +3 or +2 in this case. That's mostly specific to creatures, but can also be on other cards. So most of them have +0, and that's okay. And what's this value? This value is the regain value. The regain value means that if this card is on the battlefield, each turn you regain 3 life points. So that's cool, right? And let's go on. So we have these cards. So now you can decide if you want to play with this 7 cards or not. So if you're not want to play with this, you can do a mulligan. Mulligan, you might know from other games, is when you don't like this and you want to do it again. So you can again draw 7 new cards, but at a small cost. So for every mulligan you take, you have to take 1 card and place it under your deck. So just like in the other one of the famous trading cards game you might know. But I think that's a good mechanic, and it's nice to have in the game, so that it takes a little bit the luck out of the game and more strategy in it. So yeah, but let's start with this 7 cards here. So I think it might be a good hand, a little bit too strong maybe. So yeah. So now the opponent also draws 7 cards, but we are not doing that yet. So just think he has 7 cards, and now we decide which player starts. And let's say we start. So our first turn starts, and we can play our first card. So yeah, we have a card with the cost of 1 and another card with the cost of 2. So what does that mean? We can use this ability to play the archer. And because we can play multiple creatures in 1 turn. So probably also play the soldier. But we can only use this ability once to reduce the cost, so that's why we only can. If we had 2 archers, we could also only play 1 of the archers. Yeah. So let me quickly scale them a little bit down. So that they are more matching to the other cards. So now we have these 2 cards here. And they have an ability, so because that's a Rund archer, most of the Rund are specific into regaining life points, and so you can pay 1 life point to activate that ability, and that will increase the regain, so the +0 here on top, to +2 for 1 full turn. Next turn you also have to pay it again, so you pay now 1 life point, and next round you get 2 life points back, but your creature has to live until then, right? So hope our opponent doesn't have something in his hand that could interrupt our tactics. On the other hand, here is our younger soldier. That's another family. They are more on the damage side of the game. And here you can pay 1 life point to increase the damage it can inflict on the opponent for 1 full turn. So yeah. And that's so far about that. So now we go on a little bit and play more turns, and yeah. And one important thing is when you play a creature, it can attack in the same turn. So you have to wait a turn. So let's quickly do this and change that. Oh, we forgot something. I see. We forgot to adjust our life points because we played 2 cards, and they do cost a little bit. Yeah. So we played the Rund archer for 2 and the Rund younger soldier for 1. So we lost 3 life points. So we are at 97. Okay, so that's the thing. Yeah? So you have to pay life to play cards. And And if you play, so the thing is, when your life points are low, you can't play cards anymore. So be aware of that, and hopefully you're not going down too much. Yeah, so now we are on turn 2. And now our both creatures can attack. And yeah, so let's say they both attack. We activate the ability of the younger soldier and say he is now a 2/1 and we have two 2/1s now. So activate the ability costs me 1. So yeah, that's 96. And inflict 4 damage to our opponent. So he is at 96 too. Right? Right. Let me take a quick sip. So in turn 2 we can play cards of power level 2. We can activate the ability to play a card of power level 3. Right? So we could play this and this card. So the thing is, the trap card, that's the purple ones, are only playable in the opponent's turn, and that's twist to that card. But there are like quick tags for these cards where you can, that allows them to be played in your turn. So yeah, we can't play them yet, but let's say if our opponent in his turn would play a creature that has haste, we can say no, I just want now to activate it, and it doesn't have haste anymore. So they can't have haste for 1 full turn. So and haste is that ability that allows a creature to be played and attack in the same turn. So, but we can play our Ice Saber. Ice Saber is an artifact. So they are a little bit specific. So you can see this little small bar here on the bottom of the picture. That will be an indicator for you and for your opponent that you can place small tokens on it and say, oh, it is charged with 3. You can see that's also the default charge with that little underline here, and it's also mentioned in the text. So yeah, it has some abilities. So it's first is start charge. That's mostly normal for artifacts to have that specific ability. So yeah, that's the ability, so that starts with 3 charges. You can increase the charges by how is it called? Destroying one of your creatures and put it in the graveyard. So it's not so if you have in the later game small creatures and don't want to use them, you can sacrifice them and increase the charge of one of your artifacts, to say. That would be nice tactics. So and that's a weapon, this card. So it has the attribute equipable. Equipable is, how do I say it? When one creature, you can attach this artifact to it, so it gets this specific abilities of this card. But equipping weapon costs a charge. It comes always with a small price. So when we equip this weapon to, so let's play this card, okay? So we play it and take our freedom with our hero ability, and so we can play this card, pay our 3 lives, and we are now at 93. life points, and we pay 1 charge to attach it to this creature here. So let's move it. Where do we do this? There. So we place we attach the artifact to our archer. Doesn't seem that suitable like an archer with a sword way, hey? But he now has haste. That's in this case not really needed because he can already attack. And his damage is increased by 3. So he now has 5 damage. And the specific ability of the sword also allows it to reduce damage that is taken by 3. But that costs 1 charge. So we are now at 2 charges. We could easily activate this 2 times to reduce the damage my creature takes by 6. So, oh yeah, we already attacked. So that's bad from me. Oh no, I should have played this card beforehand and added, so we would have inflict more damage to our opponent, and we didn't. So we have to wait a turn. Our opponent still don't has good cards on his hands. Oh no, he's doing nothing, and now it's our turn again. Oh my god, and so our turn again. Oh, and one of the really important things of the game is every time your turn starts you draw a card. Okay, yeah, cool. We didn't do this here. Just wanted to explain the cards you already have in hand and don't want to, yeah. So just think we have more cards in our hand now. And now in turn 3 we can also play our also famous honey card. So this card is maybe surprisingly stupid. It costs 4 and you get 10 life points back. So we say you get 6 life points. Yeah, you could say this. But it's important to say if you have in the later game only 3 life points, you can't play this card, right? Because it would decrease your life points to -1. You lost. That's bad. So yeah, you can only play cards with life points when you have the life points to play this card. Right. So we play this card. It will be executed and we get our 6 life points, and the card goes into the graveyard. So we are back at 99 life points. Isn't that nice? And that's a 4 cost card, so we had to activate our hero ability. So that's it. And now we can attack again, pay that 1 life point, and also attack here. So 5 and 2 is 7 damage. So that's it. Oh, not on our side 7 damage. It's only 1 damage for us because we activate the younger soul disability, but 7 damage for him, so he's at 89 life points. So that's already some of the major mechanics. But what if our opponent had creatures on their own? So let's quickly go to our right side and grab some creatures. he could have played, and let's say he has some cool cards like this Oberon Moose here. He played this. Oh, it's a 7 cost card, so he plays it later. What do we have nice here? That's also an expensive card. He could have played this one. That's really interesting because it's flying. The Vox is also too expensive. The Kitiwakis were also expensive. So we have to grab some card that has no image yet. So sure. Oh yeah, the Banner Bearer. Banner Bearer is a good card. So he has that 2 times. That's cool, and he has some soldiers, some knight. Knight would be cool. Yeah. The younger knight. So he plays these cards. Well, what's going on? Sure. Let me quickly scroll to our favorite position. Take a quick sip of my bottle and go for it. So where are our cards now? Here. Boop. Take him to the side. So he plays this card 2 times. Yeah, could have just do that and also scale this one down. So he plays this 3 cards here. And that costs him 2 for 6 life points. So he's at 83. But the important thing is that our knight here gets some bonuses from the abilities of the Banner Bearer. And every friendly soldier accepts this one Banner Bearer gets +1/+1. So he's a 3/3, but because we have 2, it's a 4/4 card. And the Banner Bearer will accept this card, so that the other Banner Bearer gets the bonus from the other Banner Bearer. So it's a 1/4 card, and the other one is also 1/4 card because they give the ability to the other card, and well, because they are soldiers, and yeah. So our knight is now a 4/4 card. So that's so what can we do? The next time we attack on our next turn, say he played this in turn 2, so now it's turn 3 for him. He played these cards. So I know they don't have a regain, and we're also not using our regain yet. And on our turn we draw a card. So to say, it's our turn 4 now, and we could attack now, but let's see. We can do. Let's say we would attack with our younger soldier. So he could just block it with the younger knight he has. So the thing is, battles are just as attacker, you decide, do you want to attack or not? So you can only go on the opponent's life points. An opponent can decide if he wants to block you, and if he don't want to block you, that's it. Your attack goes through, all good. But you see that your opponent has a strong creature, you might not attack with that. Okay, so even if we want to attack with this, it's a 2/1 card with our ability activated. So he might not block with his banner bearers. Because that would reduce the power of his knight. And we could attack with our archer. So that would be interesting. Because we have a 5 attack power card here. But we only have 1 life point, a health point on this card. So it might die. So, but for interesting purpose and showing you mechanics, we just attack with that card. So normal is really, whoa. That's something I didn't want to do. We could the normal behavior is here, to tap it and say, oh, now it attacked, cool, I want to attack with that. He says, I want to block it with, oh, it has 1 life point. Do I want to sacrifice one of my banner bearers? Sure. He's saying, yeah, I block with that banner bearer. That is a 1/4 creature. So with our 5 damage we could easily destroy this banner bearer, but our archer would be destroyed too, because it only has 1 health point and we do 1 damage with the banner bearer. So both creatures die. We could now activate our ability of the artifact to reduce the damage taken by 3. But do we want this? I don't know, we lose the charge, that's the thing. And I think we shouldn't do this. So that banner bearer dies. The graveyard is here, and my archer dies too. And the artifact is now unbounded again, and we could equip it again to our younger soldier, but I will just wait another turn so that we can play our Kitty Vakes and boost that one up, so we have another 5/4 creature that can fly. Yes, it can fly. It's like in the other games, it attacks above the other one, so if you don't have the right creature in hand, you might not block it. So the ability of that is when you attack with 2 creatures and both 2 damage, you as the player gets instantly regained 2 life points. So you get life back by playing with the Kitty Vakes. And so now it's our opponent's turn. In his turn 4, he might play, what creature did we do to the side? Ah yeah, here, the Colbri Verde. So that's a 3-cost card. Let's say he draw that card right now and now wants to play it. So he plays this, and That costs 3, so he's at 80 life points. That's still a good bunch of life points you have. So, but this card has a regain of 1, so every turn you regain 1 life point. And it's a flying creature, so right now, if it would have haste, we could just attack and be happy. But also, opponent has now this younger soldier. What is not possible is to equip this Ice Saber in the opponent's turn. So he cannot equip it right now to the soldier. That's not allowed. So you have to equip it in your turn. So he has this 1/1, but he can activate the ability. So it could be a 2/1 card. And well, we have here our 3/3 card because of the Banner Bearer. So the opponent might attack with this card, and we can't block him right now. So we could block him, but let's take this for the life points, right? So we take this for damage and be happy. Because now is our turn. Our opponent could, the phases are like you can play a card, you battle, you can play another cards. So, but our opponent has no cards on hand. So he could play more creatures in the end phase of his turn. But we don't have now some creatures. So now within turn 5 we can activate again our cost down ability to play our Kittivakis, and that will allow us to have a flying creature, same as our opponent, that can block his flying creature, and well, we also have regain, even more regain than he has. So we are now on the big step further to our win. But to get even closer, we use the second charge of our Ice Saber to equip it to our Kittivaki. So now that our turn ends and the opponent turn starts, he gets 1 life point back because of the Kolpri Verde, and it's at 81 life points, and that allows him to do normal things. Yeah, right? He could now attack with his Kolpri Verde, but is that suitable? I don't know. Because it would be instantly blocked by the Kittivaki. So he might think about attacking with the Younger Knight. It's a 3/3 card, and he still has the Younger Soldier and the Kittivaki. So does he want to block with the Kittivaki? He could block it him easily because it has 4 life points. So it would be a 5/1 after he blocks him. And I think our opponent should think that that's the thing I would do, because I would do this. And so he does nothing. He can't attack with that, he can't attack with that. He needs this so that he can boost his knight. The Kolpri is not a soldier, right? So next turn. So in this turn number 6, we get 3 life points from the Kittivakis back. But we now want to play the Kunurund card with our hero ability. So we pay 7 and get 3 back, so we only pay 4, so we have 90. And the Kuno card is, well, it has some okayish strength and a lot of health, so, and a little bit of regain, so it has from everything a little bit. And the ability allows him, if there's another beer card on the field, he makes more damage. Well, right? He has some beers on the picture, so that would be cool. And he has the cool ability called Breaker. Breaker is if your opponent blocks your attack and you make more damage than the creature has health. The difference in attack damage goes through to the opponent's face. Right? So we break through the defense and hit him in the face. So now we have this card. And we have the other good card. So that's a good chance for us to win this. But there are a lot of cards in the opponent's deck we might know that could turn the whole thing around. So let's take a quick look to our pile of cards. Maybe some cards could help him, right? Where are we? There we have that one card, and here are the other cards. Well, it's a little bit itchy, so to say, and I try to scale in a little bit, but let's see what we have here. Some basic creatures, yeah, archers, eagles, knights, well, cavalry, a lot of soldiers. So the first season will be about soldiers, about a lot of soldiers in the different families. So the families are the factions in the game, and they are not always cool with each other, so that's a bummer for some. For example, the younger Vox could help him. And that has a really, really good ability. So it costs a lot with 7, but it does a lot of damage. It's a really damage beast. It does 8 damage and has 5 health points. That's a lot. It's actually a really strong card, but the most shining thing of this card is its ability. So we can pay 2x life points to deal x damage to an enemy creature. So if the opponent has some really strong creatures, you could say, whoa, this card has to be gone. You can pay it 2 times. So if it has 5 HP, the creature, we can pay 10 life points to destroy this card. That's really strong. I should add that this ability should only be activated once per turn. So that should stand on the ability. That's my fault. I will adjust that one right now. Let me quickly do this. Right here, I have the card. Go to its effects. Edit this to once a turn. You can pay 2x life points to deal x damage. X amount of damage to an enemy creature. That sounds good. That's not, it will not be updated here because that's just an image. I have to re-render that card, but that I will do later. So what other creatures do we have? Oh, here we have Doma Oberon. It's also a nice strong card. He is fast and he can break through the defense. Because he's an ice boy, he can skate on ice, he's fast. So, and with the spikes, ice spikes, you can penetrate a lot of armors. That's the idea behind this card. So it costs a lot with 7, but also does a nice amount of damage. And she has a really cool ability. Cool, like, ice. Once a turn, you can pay 1 life point to get a 1/1 ice figure token. That has haste. So each turn, you can make another token creature. So in total, you can inflict 8 damage with Doma, so to say. Doma. Really strong, but not suitable for our situation right now, because he can't do anything against flying creatures, and we have a 5 strength flying creature, so that might not be the best. So the hero abilities, we can't change that. I picked some times ago the Alberon moves. I don't remember its ability, but I think it's really a defensive creature with 7 costs, but only 2 attack. It's not the strongest one, but it has a lot of health. And this creature heals. So, yeah. If you proc with the creature, it takes 3 damage. It regains this taking damage by 3 points. So because it is in this game, like, if you inflict damage to a creature, it's not healing again until some effect allows it to heal. That's important. On the other hand, we have a lot of cards that implement some features with the graveyard, like get a card back on your hand or anything. So do we have some nice spell cards? Let's check out this here, the Freeze. The Freeze is a hidden spell card. So spell cards can only be played in your turn and not in the opponent's turn. But hidden allows to also be played in the opponent's turn. So because it's only because the ability would make sense to also be played in the opponent's turn. So we freeze the creature, so to say, that it can't attack or block and is not usable for 1 round, so to say. But we can activate the ability of the card, right? And the ability is still active. Let's not change from this. So what else do we have? Control Mind card to take your opponent's creature for 1 turn. So what do we have? On the other hand, Revive. That's the for me so-called graveyard synergy effect, to take one thing back from the graveyard and play the card again. Maybe it died. Right. So we have the magnetic field. It's a Laon ability and reduces the attack of soldiers, for example. Right, so yeah, there are a lot of cards with different abilities and they will play nice together, and hopefully you can have a nice strategy and draw the right cards in the right moment to win, right? So that's a short thing about rules in the game. I hope it's some kind of interesting to you, and hope if you have any questions to the rules, write it below in the comment section of the YouTube video I will upload, and write it in the chat whatever. So that's for me today. Hope to see you again, and thanks for watching.